secure network, and we have to ensure that the data that is exchanged is definitely secure and not breached in any case. Some of the challenges what we have seen till today are a few things on security. No visibility of what files are being moved in my network in the IT department as such. And be it a bank, be it any manufacturing enterprise, it could be a media enterprise, anything like that. So they would definitely want to have visibility of what is happening in the network. I would want to get a hold of who is sending what across the network. Sometimes in the case of bill payments, in the case of governance, and in the case of compliance with regulatory bodies, we'll have to ensure that right SLAs are met. Otherwise, there are stipulated penalties that would definitely need to be incurred by either the party who is supposed to pay or the party who is supposed to report. So SLA management is one of the key criteria as well. Others are like files are being transferred, it's duplicate, it's corrupted. It could be a breach and security, things like that. So these are various examples which we have seen in BFSI and manufacturing and media industry especially. And we would definitely want to cover all these challenges, ensure that these challenges are met with MFD solutions. So what is there in store offered by IBM for MFD, Managed File Transfer? We would cover the 3 types of patterns like system-centric, community-centric, person-centric data transfers. We would add, or we would sit on, we would provide the governance of the data movement across these communities, across these patterns, and ensure that security is at most, for all these data movements across various types of patterns as such. So security is prime importance. So that's the bottom, that's the foundation on which we actually build various capabilities of data transfers across enterprise. What are the products that are actually part of this suite with delivering the governance and various data movements and security? As I've shown here, Control Center, Sterling Control Center, Sterling Connect Direct, Sterling File Gateway, File Transfer Service, which is a cloud managed services deployment option that is available, and IBM Sterling My File Gateway, which is part of the File Gateway portfolio as well, and Quick File. So the centerpiece, which is the Connect Direct, File Gateway, and Quick File, forms forms the products that are delivering various types of data movements. In terms of governance, we have Control Center. In terms of security, we have Sterling Secure Proxy and Perimeter Servers. For each of these products, I've also just given the various deployment options that are available that comes along with these products. Let's look at system-centric, wherein you have a lot of data that needs to be exchanged from between various systems. It could be simple database to ERPs to CRM applications and things like that. So what is the product that is delivering the system-centric? It's Connect Direct. Connect Direct basically helps us in transferring high volumes, large sizes, and rapid transfers of data from one point to another point. It could be one system to another system. It could handle translations from one format to Either it could be across various operating systems and things like that. So there is no operating system that is not supported by Connect Direct, or we have complete support on all the platforms and all the operating systems that is available in marketplace. CD, that's what we actually call Connect Direct as. CD gives complete automation in terms of automatic retries and retries and restarts. Restarts could be checkpoint restarts from the point it actually failed, which is definitely not available in any kind of other transport protocols. And security, we bundle Secure Plus, which is part of which is part of Connect Direct, gives you SSL, TLS, as well as STS, and capabilities of encrypting the data and signing the data from point to point. For rapid transfer, we leverage underlying UDP protocol to ensure we can achieve high performances and leverage the existing bandwidth between the 2 points. So typically, we have used, we have seen this, the usages of Connect Direct from smallest file to the extent of 16 terabytes of data being transferred from one point to another point between data centers for their DR necessities or BCP requirements. How do we deliver? CD is a simple client-server application. It requires a CD to be residing on both the ends of the system. In the case of FTP, it's an open protocol. Anybody could actually connect and breach the network and definitely get handled to any of the data. In the case of Connect Direct, you couldn't do that because you will definitely need a Connect Direct server on both the ends. So it doesn't open ports. It doesn't talk to any other protocol but Connect Direct. So that's the strength of having Connect Direct in an enterprise for high, rapid transfers, performance, and ensuring that retries are met. A quick architectural view of what Connect Direct is. As I said, it needs to be residing on both the systems. You would have clients initiating Connect Direct servers to send and receive files between various other servers. It's a server-to-server, reliable, secure transfer protocol that has never been breached till date. Approximately, from what I know, at least 9 out of 10 banks definitely use Connect Direct worldwide. Moving on the community-centric data transfers, typically what we see is you would have various FTP points, various ways of exchanging information. You wouldn't have a single solution for point solution, point requirement, delivering a particular data to a particular point, right? A single point, and broadcasting the same data to multiple points. You wouldn't have a solution where you get all these requirements met. Like it could be a single user, it could be a set of users. How do I broadcast this information, and also how do I ensure that what is going on in the network is completely monitored? So on the community-centric data transfers or data movement, we have Sterling File Gateway, which is a very robust, scalable application that that sits on premise of an enterprise and then delivers exchange of data, gives facilities like My File Gateway, which is a URL, which is a web URL wherein customers and partners, clients, suppliers need to log into My File Gateway and they'll have to send data across the enterprise. So what is File Gateway? File Gateway is completely centralized gateway. It sits on the edge of the enterprise and has perimeter security as well along with File Gateway. It gives administrators a lot of capabilities and rights to either integrate with their existing directory servers within an enterprise, or it could also have external users rolled in and onboarded to the system so that an external user could simply log into my file gateway and send a file to an enterprise user, sitting inside an enterprise. What it does, Sterling File Gateway is completely centralized. The kind of data formats that are supported by Sterling File Gateway, there is no end to it. Any format, any kind. It could also handle transformations. It has a built-in transformation engine in it, and it could talk to any protocol. It could be web services, it could be HTTP, it could be FTP, SFTP, Connect Direct, anything, any protocol as such. On top, it supports the other standards like AS1, 2, and 3 for the B2B file transfers as such. So if there are customers who would want to exchange data or with an enterprise automatically, they don't want to manually upload files to a My File Gateway, and there is a need for other set of partners and suppliers who would want to do an upload. Sterling File Gateway fits in very well, wherein you would want customers to directly automatically send data over AS2, and you would want suppliers to upload manually. So, and there could be other cases where you have to connect to your client's SFTP servers and pull a particular directory. Sterling File Gateway can do all of these in one stop. Right? So it has the adapter capabilities built in within Sterling File Gateway, with which it actually can connect to a remote server, remote SFTP server, and pull in information as well. It has, how does it deliver all these things? It has, as I said, it has a set of communication adapters. Concept of advanced mailboxing is present in Sterling File Gateway, where unlike in the case of SFTP or FTP, you would the person has to actually log into the designated directory, and he could actually traverse if there is a access given to him, and he could actually view the content of the directories. And we have seen in multiple cases where the common user ID is being used for accessing, will be used by multiple individuals to connect to a SFTP server and drop a particular file or get a particular file from the site. So that is avoided here, and you would only see what is designated to you, and you would get into the mailbox of the particular user who has logged in as, and that's the only thing he would actually see, and he cannot traverse to a parent directory or anything like that. So it's completely mailboxing, advanced mailboxing that is available in Sterling File Gateway. What do we get with Sterling File Gateway? A set of communication security capabilities of routings and processing. So two parties who are connected on Sterling File Gateway are called as producer of the file, who uploads the file. The person who is actually needs to consume the file is called as a consumer of the file. Unless the administrator creates a pipe for these two people, these two entities to transact on Sterling File Gateway, they cannot send or receive any kind of file. And that is what we call it as intelligent routing, and we have to, the administrator has to create routing channels for these two parties to transact on Sterling File Gateway. What is the advantage with that? An administrator would get a complete visibility of what is happening on the network, who is sending and who is receiving. Of course, you can restrict the administrator from viewing that data. I mean, you could encrypt the data that is being transacted between the parties. Administrators will have only visibility to what is being sent and what is the file sizes, what is the bandwidth utilization, and things like that. So complete visibility of what is going on in the network on Sterling File Gateway is completely visible to the customer, visible to the administrator. He could also create various communities, enable communities to create further users, have um, administrative rights delegated to a community manager or something like that. And where communities actually come into play is if there are files that needs to be sent to multiple parties. Say, for example, it's a contract file that needs to be shared with a customer as well as people from legal, from a bank. Right? I mean, in that case, typically what people do is they would actually attach that as an email attachment, or it could be a FTP site where they would be given access to. In the case of community management, what they can actually also achieve is they can do a broadcast of a message. They could just send it to a shared mailbox, and they could have links sent out to all these recipients who are supposed to view the content as such. So community, not just creating users, not just creating more administrators, but also they can use this feature of broadcasting messages across communities. And extensibility part is, how do I extend my existing file transfer infrastructure to integrate with various backend applications, with my ERP applications. It could be CRM applications. It could be a simple database. It could be other web applications. How do I do an integration to that application so that I can have a seamless information flow from the supplier or from the partner to the respective applications? Sterling File Gateway sits on Sterling Integrator, which has a lot of built-in adapters through which you can actually integrate into your applications, backend applications as such. So extensibility is achieved by leveraging the underlying Sterling Integrator, through which you can actually have a complete seamless integration into a backend application, and hence data flow is uninterrupted. A small footprint of what Sterling File Gateway is, and as I said earlier, Sterling File Gateway is built on top of Sterling B2B Integrator, which supports various transport as well as business protocols. On the left-hand side, you would see various protocols that are indicated, like SMTP, ASX, FTP, HTTP, and various other protocols as well. It also talks about various data formats. I mean, it could be types as well. It could be, for example, EDI, XML, and Swift specific standards. And when specific to Swift and EBIX, they have integration capabilities to integrate directly to SwiftNet. It could be a protocol support. It could be a data format support. It's all supported in Sterling Integrator. The right-hand side, you would see various ways of integration adapters into various applications. It could be CRM, messaging. It could be database, legacy applications, etc. And on top of this is what we give Sterling File Gateway, which gives you a better partner management, a complete visibility of what is happening in the network, capabilities of routing channels, routing channel templates that's available in Sterling File Gateway, enhances your capabilities of just exchanging data via internet. As I said, the producer of the file uploads. I mean, this slide, I'm just showing a few a process flow where file uploaded to Sterling File Gateway. What happens? How does it get delivered to an end consumer as such? Through my file gateway, producer of the file would upload the file, and if there is a channel that is routing channel that is already created for for the user. It would determine who is the delivery consumer mailbox, and then deliver that the data or the file to consumer mailbox. And consumers could be of two types, again, initiating consumer and listening consumers. Initiating consumers would log on to my file gateway and download the particular file, and whereas in the case of listening consumers, Sterling File Gateway would be programmed to deliver the file automatically to server. It could be a SFTP server or FTP server residing outside of Sterling File Gateway. And it would automatically deliver that file to the destined consumer as such. So last type of data movement pattern which we see is person-to-person ad hoc transfer, just like email. Without creating communities, without onboarding customers, without putting a lot of effort in onboarding customers, how do I just send files to anybody who has a simple DNS available on the network as such? So we have QuickFile, which is a fairly new product that got released in November, which caters to person-centric data transfers. It's pretty simple for business users. There's absolutely no need for training. It's as simple as using email-based data transfers. They just need to log on to a particular URL, and they'll be able to send and receive files uninterruptedly and with security, and completely reliable for even large files. That's delivered through QuickFile as such. What QuickFile does, it gives a browser-based interface to transfer of large files without any involvement of IT, creation of any kind of mailboxes, any kind of directories. They just need to log onto your URL, type the person's email address, and attach the file. Attaching the file could be, if they could actually drag and drop a set of files automatically, simultaneously. Sorry, not automatically, simultaneously onto the browser, so that it's sent in one shot. No onboarding, no new creation of users. If it is within an enterprise, if you integrate with the directory service, it could be LDAP, it could be Active Directory. As long as a person exists on the AD, they would get rights and access to this particular system automatically over the web URL. There is no limitation to type of file, size of file, and protocol file. Any type of file can be sent across this appliance. How does it deliver? It's delivered as a software appliance, shipped as a software image that runs on a VMware ESXi environment, and users, they can choose their choice. They can choose any kind of browser to access this particular appliance as such. All you need is this for running QuickFile. It's fairly simple. It's an open virtual appliance that runs on a VMware ESXi 5.0 or later. Comes with a pre-built 2 CPU, 8 GB RAM. It's recommended to have this infrastructure. It's completely hardened platform. So you don't. There is no network breach or any security breach onto the system as such. Optionally, you could also integrate IBM's QuickFile into archiving applications, content management processes like FileNet, or could also integrate with secure proxy for added security and perimeter security as such. It can be monitored through Control Center, which I'll be talking through in a while. and it could also integrate into, as I said, Active Directory or external databases and SMTP servers as well. So we just saw the various types of movements, data movements, system-centric, community-centric, and person-centric. We'll just cover what is the additional capabilities that is offered in managed file transfer in terms of governance and security. When we talk about governance, what we normally see is how do I gain visibility onto if I have FTP servers, if I have various Connect Direct instances, if I have various Sterling integrator instances. How do I monitor data that is being transferred across these systems? Control Center addresses that challenge, and you would get a complete visibility into the data that is being transferred across various touch points. It could be Connect Direct, it could be FTP, it could be SFTPs, it could be Sterling File Gateway, all in one single browser, all in one single mobile app. You could actually see various data transfers that are happening in flight and what is happening to them. If they are stuck, they would you could alert a particular administrator with a visual as well as email as well as SMS alerts. What do you get as an administrator? A complete visibility of all the business processes that are active in the network. You would get a complete health check of what is happening. You could create service level. You could manage the service levels that are delivered to your clients through creation of service level criteria. And you could have alerts, proactive alerts configured in Sterling Control Center so that you could, there is a missed SLA, you could alert a set of business users as well as administrators as such. In terms of compliance, you could see, if you're looking at PCI compliance, you could actually generate reports, do a lot of analytics on those data that is transferred. I mean, analytics on the data that is gathered through the reporting tools. You could actually find if there are any data that are getting logged, it could be payment information, it could be card information, it could be consumer data, it could be anything. If there are getting things that are getting logged, you could actually apply analytics and find out if there is any non-compliance in that. It gives a one-stop solution for managing all your SLAs. As I said, you could create SLAs, could monitor those SLAs, you could create rules, custom rules, and then have alerts monitoring those rules, and then you could have rules monitoring them, and then have alerts automatically if there is any breach in that. It also offers various other things like asset management and configuration management. It's very for in case of configuration management, it's limited to controls and it's limited to Connect Direct, wherein you could actually push configuration information to various Connect Direct instances. You could actually manage your licenses of various Connect Directs, and you could actually monitor them through one single central place. That's pretty much what actually Control Center provides as a governance tool. It could integrate, as I've depicted here, it could integrate with various Connect Direct instances, it could monitor FTP instances, it could monitor Sterling File Gateway, it could integrate with databases. It could have third-party reporting tools through which you can actually churn out a lot of reports to the data that is pumped in through the SSC Control Center engine. It gives a fancy console, web console, as well as a mobile app for administrators to monitor the network. It gets integrated to SNMP enterprise management systems for any. I mean, you could actually have, say, a control center send out SNMP messages to the management system through which you can actually alert various administrators on the network monitoring as part of it. There are a few screenshots on what you can actually see. The control center, you could monitor physically. I mean, visually, you could see that these servers on the left-hand side, which are with a red mark, are actually servers which are down, and you can actually quickly act on these servers, and then you could fix a problem which could be something related to license. It could be something related to a server down or something like that. So you could actually physically, I mean, visually see that server is down, and then you can actually act on it. Similarly, if there are any alerts, you would see the alerts. You can pull in alerts. You could monitor alerts, active alerts on this set of servers as well. That's pretty much on the control center governance aspect of as such. Let's move on to the security aspect of the